Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Reginal Drummer, the peopleologist over here at Square Mile Media, one of the contributors. And welcome to the We Are Ready podcast this evening. It's going to be powerful. And you know what we say over here? The acronym WAR, WAR, stands for We Are Ready. You know, we have to be ready at all times. Either get ready, be ready, or stay ready. So when some situation comes up, we'll be prepared for it. And I know recently we had that storm. If you look at some of the uh, information that we have over on the Be Ready page dealing with disasters and survival, you would see some of those things that we need. Also, you know, there's a lot of issues going on. Yeah, war in Ukraine, gas, food, crime, all that's going to go up. It's affecting us over here, so we have to be uh, mindful of that. We have to prepare ourselves, our families, and our communities. Also, the new strands of COVID, we still got that going on, and we into a whole lot. And it is Women's History Month. We just had the Atlanta police chief resign, and we have to be thankful, thinking about all that type stuff. But meanwhile, back at the ranch in our personal lives, there are many things that we need to take in. One of those things is our finance, because even with gas, even with food, anything that happens, the people that are financially challenged usually have the most problems. So over here, we say we either have to figure out a way to reduce, share, or eliminate or increase our finances. So tonight, I'm joined by our local financial strategist, and she practices a lot when it comes down to helping people strategize their financial picture, whether it's dealing with debt or putting yourself in position through products like life insurance, uh, even investment property, homes, things of that nature. Because even though we prepare for doom and gloom, some of us going to be here a long time. So you got to get yourself ready so that you can be in a good position for yourself, a good position for your family, and a good position for your family legacy. So with that being said, I'd like to bring to the front and introduce to you this evening Miss Karen Stiggers. How you doing, Miss Stiggers?
I'm good, Mr. Drummer. How are you, Reggie?
Oh, I'm doing great. I'm doing great. You know, I got my notepad, uh, pen, and just looking at uh, I know you bring a wealth of information to the table, uh, and you know you in that industry that a lot of us don't like to talk about. You know, our finances. Everybody want to keep them finances secret until they need some money, or something happens in the family. There's a medical challenge. Even now with the people not planning, and gas just went up a little bit, and people freaking out because the savings not in order, things of that nature, not planning, keeping our heads in the sand. But you bring a great background of information. But I guess I want to ask you first, what made you want to get into numbers, the money? What motivated you to get into the finances? Or, you know, give us a little story.
Well, most typical women, we like things, right? We like to shop.
Okay.
So hey, I don't believe in getting a lot of debt on credit cards. So I want to know how to get to the money. And I've been a business owner, self-employed, basically my entire adult life. So it was very important to figure out how to not only make money, but how to save and invest money, because I don't have the typical job, W-2. So I don't have the sick days and vacation days and all of that stuff. So I have to be able to plan to still be able to live and take that time for myself without stressing and worrying about, my bank account decreasing.
Mm.
So
Oh yeah, because uh, your money can go up and down like your blood pressure. And I think your money can affect your blood pressure more than your blood pressure can affect your money. But a lot of the when you look at, like you say, you know, you have we have needs, we have wants, and a lot of times we have difficulties because so many things we put in front of the things we need to focus on. When it comes down to saving money, when it comes down to investing money, when it comes down to things like that, you know, we'll spend more almost than we make. Different things, whether it be paid, and it is true in America, especially since we've seen COVID, because COVID kind of exposed a lot of things. Even though people didn't have to go to work, people could work from home. People found themselves with a lot more time that they had money. So that put people into doing things with their money that they would not normally do, even though they were saving money, not having to go to work or spending gas money or not having to buy lunch and meals. They were spending money online. So people went up, debt went up. But anyway, I know this evening you'll share some things. When you look at whether it's a single person or a person that's married with kids or a family, what are some of those products that you recommend? I know people don't like to talk about them, but one of them is insurance. And I know you're going to bring that to us, and keeping the debt ratio low, setting a budget, and even going past things like insurance, investing in yourself, getting whether it be real estate property or some type of other investment. But just coming right into it, what are some simple things that you encourage people, the basic things for people to have,
Okay.
whether they're single or married?
Right. Well, before I do that, I'm gonna go ahead and let them know a little bit about who I am, so they're
Okay.
like, "Who is this lady?"
Yeah.
Giving this advice. So as you see, my name here is Karen Stiggers, Karen Price Stiggers. I have a degree from Georgia State University in finance and real estate. I spent 30 years as a real estate appraiser here in Chicago and in Atlanta. I used to be a former financial advisor for Penn Mutual. And even though I don't appraise real estate anymore, I am still a real estate investor as well as a realtor. I also have a few other businesses. I have a coaching program. That's my business and financial strategist program. It's under Pay Yourself First. So if you see I forgot to put that on there. Social media, it's Instagram and Twitter and all that good stuff. But Pay Yourself First is my coaching program. And then Core Financial, that's where I house my insurance school as well as real estate. And what you saw as well, Karen Stiggers Agency, that's my insurance company. So as you were saying, Reggie, what do I do? What my main goal is I help people minimize their financial risk and increase their net worth. And I do that with various insurance strategies and financial strategies. And that can be a gamut of everything. But we're going to talk about the four main things which you asked me about. Okay. Number one is health and life insurance. That is number one. I mean, we can make all the money in the world, but if we don't keep ourselves healthy and we don't have insurance, if something does go wrong, we know that's one of the number one ways that people file bankruptcy is because of health. And right. with the Affordable Care Act, that was our former president, he put that in place where everybody in America will be able to have health insurance and not be based on your health. I had hundreds of clients prior to that bill passing that was financially wealthy, but they still couldn't get health insurance if they were self-employed. If you're part of a group plan, you can, you don't have to qualify, but individuals could not get health insurance because of their health. So now that has been abolished, health insurance, have to have some health insurance to take care of all of those, your annual needs. And the whole purpose was that is so we can get in front of our health issues and get that annual checkup so we can do more preventative care and not try to fix things on the back end, like most men do. You know, you wait till y'all leg fall off before you go to the doctor, you know. So we want to get that preventative health because we know that's easier to take care of things. So that's number one. You know, if you have it through your employer, great. If you're self-employed, you know, we can talk about having you get some health insurance. And within that health insurance gamut, it's not just health insurance, you know, because you have to have some vision and dental insurance. Dental is so, so important. If your mouth isn't right, your teeth isn't right, I mean, you can actually die for poor hygiene. And people really do not realize that. I did not realize how bad it was, more so here in the South, that it just amazed me that that's not something. And I'm saying everybody in the South, so don't jump on me. But I'm from the Midwest, you know, and that just, it was just part of your routine. You know, every 6 months you went to the dentist. So when I got here, that was pretty rare. So I've gotten people a lot of dental policies. So
Okay.
all of that, take care of your health first. With that, life insurance. If I see another GoFundMe, GoFundMe, listen, people, it's not life insurance. You need to get a life insurance policy. That is one of the best and most crucial investments that you can make in your life. Because for one, that protects you. I mean, we're all adults here. No one should be responsible for your final expenses, you know, but you. And then for two, if you have a family, you need to
Mm.
leave your family something. You know, you need to leave, you should leave your children something. The Bible says a wise man leaves an inheritance to his children's children. So I already have money set aside for my grandchildren that are not even here because my daughter's 21, so she doesn't have any children.
Okay.
No, but that is already set up, you know. So life insurance is one of the best and one of the most inexpensive ways for you to be able to transfer wealth. And you're transferring that wealth without any taxes. So if you have $1 million policy, $500,000 policy, your family gets that tax free.
Okay.
I
That's
keep,
excellent.
you want to ask another question?
Well, and you brought up a good point because I know a lot of times, and I've had to do it with friends, uh, and, loved ones that did not have an insurance policy,
Right.
and a lot of times, especially men, it's getting better. I'm not going to stereotype men, but we'll say, well, you know what? I don't want to leave nobody nothing. But
Yeah.
I think that's changing now because like every man should leave something to at least two generations down the road, like he quoted it biblically.
Absolutely.
And I think we're paying more of attention because we see people with a lot of money, and you said, man, goodness, they didn't have enough money to bury themselves. And cremation used to be cheap. But
That,
cremation went up. So we have to figure out those ways. So that's a critical one there. The health insurance as well, because preventive maintenance, and that's one of the things that breaks the bank in a lot of families.
mhm.
Lack of medical insurance. Matter of fact, I was just watching the movie with Denzel Washington, where his son was
John
in the
Q.
hospital.
Yeah.
John Q.
Yeah.
And the HMO didn't have enough or to pay the coverage for his son. And
What a hard
all of us
translation.
not gonna be that fortunate to hijack a hospital and take them hostages
Exactly.
and get that done. So the health and the life is critical. And with life insurance, I know if you started early enough with a family member, by the time they reach a certain age, if they're disciplined, they can use that money for college. They can
Mhm.
use that money for their first home. And these are the things that put different population of people ahead. So can
Oh,
you share the importance on that side?
absolutely. You hit the nail on the head. I mean, and you, to your fact, that is true. We, as in us, are kind of waking up more to understand that because that is like I said, the least expensive way if you get it early enough that you can transfer that wealth. Because even me as a business owner, my daughter might not want to take over my company, you know, or your children may not want to do what you do, but you leave that life insurance policy, that money is that something that they can take care of. And that ties into wills and trusts, you know, things like that.
Okay.
Like I have a trust for my daughter. And it's in that trust that she cannot get, if I pass away prematurely, she cannot get that money until she shows the trustee a college degree. And if she
Wow.
doesn't, she can't get it until she's 30. And people like, you're so hard. Why'd you do that? I said, no, because for one, the world of Instagram and all of this, everything is flashy and flashy, and you got the Gucci bags and all of this stuff. And when you're young, you're dumb. You know, it's just, it is what it is. I said, no, I'm not going to lead this child, you know, millions of dollars, and she hook up with a knucklehead, you know, and her money's gone. You 18, 20 years old, and you just blew it. Or you just blew it because you don't know what you're doing, even though I teach financial literacy. So
Right.
I had to put some parameters to that. And I want to tell people, you don't have to be rich to do that. If it's your $200,000-$300,000 policy, you can get a trust and say, this is what I want to be done. And that way, I said, if you're 22, you know, if you went to college and finished, you're a little more disciplined, because college is all about discipline. I mean, it's just more classes, more English, more math, more science, but it's discipline if you can get those things done. If you didn't do that at 30, to me, you would have went through your mistakes, you know, kind of young and dumb, and went through your mistakes, and you're a little bit more mature. So that's something we could talk about later. But yeah, life insurance, you have your regular policy, like your term. That's the least expensive. Very good policy to have. And they also have term policies that's called a return of premium. So that means at the end of that term, you can get all of your money back. And that's what I have. That is why, of course, I have several policies, but I have a 30-year return of premium. So at the end of that 30 years, I get that $50,000-$60,000 back, or I can turn that over into a single pay whole life policy, which means I just convert that to a whole life and I never make a premium again. You can have a whole life policy that you don't have to pay your whole life. You know, when my daughter was 2, I bought her a $50,000 10 pay life, which means I paid it off in 10 years. So that's there, that's done. It's steady accruing. You know, like you said, it's accruing some money in there that I can borrow against in the future, but never have to pay that again.
I had a question from one of our people in the audience for seniors, because, you know, we're at this stage in the game for people that's retired or a little grayer like myself that might not have those products in line. I know it's probably not a shortcut, but what would your advice be to them? You know, because just they say to get a life insurance policy, to get a health, or to get something like a trust, because you got an aha moment and you say, man, I want to take care of my grandkids.
Okay, so yeah, I see the question in here. So I see the question for older people for retirement planning and late starters. Well, there's no way we can get around that time, because the compound interest is what makes you wealthy over time. So that kind of depends on what they need. If it's a life insurance policy, of course, it is going to be more expensive. Life insurance is based on your age and it's based on your health. So depending on the person's age and their health, that would determine a premium, you know, for life insurance. Investing, again, because the person is older, you're going to have to invest more because the time is shorter. So what I do with my clients, I use a website called thecalculatorsite.com. And what that does is it lets we sit down and talk about how much money you need to put in and what are your different investment strategies. Right now, we hadn't gotten to that, but the cryptocurrency, the digital currency market is huge, and the money is phenomenal. So I do a webinar. Yeah, I think you've been on it. I do it. I do one today on Sunday and Wednesday, and it's a digital hedge fund. So it shows people how to really accelerate your income, and that's what I've been offering to my seniors, because, you know, that's my heart. My biggest book of business is my Medicare clients. So and it's really interesting. That made me think about, I need to talk to them about that, because I have a client that just got married later in life. So her husband is 80 and she wanted to get some life insurance for him. So when I looked up the premium, she called me. I said, this is going to be $330 a month for $35,000. I said, that, she was like, what? I said, yeah, 80 years old. I said, let me show you how to put that $300 a month into this digital hedge fund. And I showed her the returns on that, and she was like, okay, this is immediate. I'm on it. So you don't have to worry about the health issues or anything. But this crypto and digital market is just, it's phenomenal. So that's for the late bloomers and the early bloomers. My daughter has an account. So now all her student loans will be paid off in less than 5 years. So she'll have over $1 million easy.
Wow.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And you know, and that's a good thing about we call it financial literacy, because sometimes people just think if I got an extra $100 in my bank account, you know, I might be, but now with all these emergencies, with the gas prices going up, I know a guy just went through his savings. He charged over $1,200 on gas because his family, he needed gas, his wife needed gas, his daughter needed gas, and his son needed gas. They spent about $1,200 a month on gas, and it can suck up your money if you're not paying attention. And you know, so that's a good one, and that's a good catch up.
I would suggest if they have any kind of membership like Costco, BJ's, get your gas from there. I get my gas from Costco because I have a membership, and from BJ's it's a little bit less expensive. So if it's one in your area, you just got to kind of do the numbers. And if that person doesn't have a business, start a business. That is where you can write off a lot of things. Now, I'm not a tax professional. Let me clear that up, or an attorney or a tax accountant, but I have several businesses. Start a LLC. You know, it's something that you can do. It's something that you're good at. I don't care if it's cleaning people's houses, something that you can do. And that way you will be able to write off your gas, you know, because if you start in that business, when you leave the house and getting ready to go to wherever you need to go, that your gas will be tax deductible. So it's you need to start a business. Everybody, if you're a W-2 employee, start some type of business. And we could talk about that later as well. It's something that you're good at. Is it making cupcakes? It's something that you can do that you'll be able to write a lot of that stuff off.
Okay. And someone wanted you to repeat your class that you offer. I know on crypto.
Oh yeah, I do. What I'll do is I'll put that link of. Let's see if I can figure out how to do that. I do a what you call it thing, a Zoom on Wednesday. I'll do one Wednesday at 7 p.m. So I'll see if I can put the Zoom link in there some kind of way. I'll try to type that in there. But yeah, we'll definitely give you that information. But that's not the only, of course, financial thing out there. You can do your regular stock and ETFs and you know mutual funds. If you have a job and your company is matching your money, you know, always take advantage of that. I don't care if it's 2%, 3%, because that's free money. So always do the company matching. But I don't want people to slip on this, like I said, this crypto. And I break it down in plain English. I go to what is cryptocurrency? What is Forex? You know, because you need to kind of understand that. And I know a lot of people, even me, have missed some of the waves. I invested a little bit of here when Google came out and Facebook and Netflix, you know, but it's like, oh man, and you see it's $300-400 a share. It's like, why didn't I do this? But guys, this is a $3 trillion market just in the last couple of years. So, you know, definitely don't miss this one. So that's why I've been doing so many webinars on that. Mm-hmm.
And when you look at part of creating after health insurance, life insurance, I guess one of the next big things that puts you in position for financial security is home buying.
Real estate.
Real estate. Can you tell us a little bit about that? And I know some people have used their insurance policies, you know, cash them out as towards a down payment for a house.
Yeah. Real estate. It used to be so funny that back in the day, I guess you see my age, 50 plus, we used to watch Charlie Brown. That was one of our great cartoons, and Lucy. And
Yeah.
Charlie Brown Christmas. If anybody on that age can remember that, you know, everybody will want their toys and their gifts, and they'd be running to the tree to unwrap their gifts. But do you remember what Lucy said she wanted for Christmas every year? Probably don't.
Okay.
You know, we were so kids and we're thinking about toys. Lucy, every year, she said she wanted real estate. She was what, 5, 6 years old?
And
She
she
didn't
was
care about
speaking it in.
in the blanket. Lucy said real estate.
Mm.
Real estate. And it's like, wow, that's a subliminal message. Yes,
Right.
real estate, home ownership is it's the foundation. You know, it's the foundation. You have to pay to live somewhere, right? You're paying somewhere, somebody. So are you either going to make your tenant rich, you know? And I know people say, oh, Karen, that's easier said than done. But there have been so many programs out here. They have dropped the credit score, you know, so low that you can be able to purchase real estate. Even if your credit is bad, you have programs like NACA that they don't even take your credit score into play. As long as you've been paying your bills on time for 2 years, that's all they care about. They don't even look at your credit score. You know, so there's so many, you know, options out here. But right now, the real estate market is crazy because everybody's moving to Atlanta, and a lot of LA and New York people are here. So they're really driving the prices up. But real estate is always going to be the best foundation because 9 times out of 10 is going to appreciate. It's cyclical. We had the wave, you know, in 07, 08, but real estate is always something that's great to purchase. And then if you can purchase a duplex or something like that, that's even smarter. Or a 4 flat, because as a homeowner, you can buy up to 4 properties and it still be included as one property. So why not buy one and rent out the other, or rent out the other 3? So now you're paying.
Say that again.
I said, buying a single home, you can buy a single individual home, or you can buy up to 4, like a 4, we call them a 4 flat or 4 units, or duplex. That's still that one loan. So you're buying one, and just say if you did a duplex, you're buying one and you're renting out the other, right? So that means your rent is free. Your mortgage is basically free because your tenant is paying that mortgage. If it's not someone you know, I would just never let them know that you are the homeowner.
Okay. I got you.
Yeah.
Definitely. You know, I've been looking at these some other broadcasting things where they encourage you to buy multiple duplex, multi-units. And you know, these things haven't been explained to us. And I see a lot of younger people doing it. There's a group out of Baltimore, there's a group down here in Atlanta. And I was like, wow, that makes sense. Because you know, most people just try to get in a house. And that's good. But you know, even if you don't do nothing but rent it out to your kids.
Right.
Yeah, and charge them some money. Don't let them rent free.
Exactly. And that's one thing we've gotten away from, you know, and other communities of color, you know, our Hispanic friends, they will get a house and purchase a house. And see, I say we, I don't mean everybody, but we don't want to be uncomfortable. You be uncomfortable for 5 years or so you can be comfortable for the rest of your life. We want to get out the house and just be comfortable now. Like when my daughter got her condo at 19, you know, I helped her get it, you know, but I said, hey, get you a roommate. I said, your roommate will be paying basically the mortgage. And then that way you can bank your money, set your ground rules. I know you want to be on your own. You are on your own. It's your home.
Right.
But let that other person help pay the mortgage for you, you know. So we have to understand we got to be uncomfortable short term. So while we have a 4-bedroom house, rent out those other 3 rooms. Charge $500-$600 a month. That's going to pay your house off. So guys, get a plan. They have a plan. They say, hey, we're going to live in this house for 5 years. We're going to pay this house off. Now, you know, Johnny is going to get the next house. 3 or 4 of us are going to live there for 5 years. We're going to knock that mortgage off in half. So now in 10 years, all 4 or 5 people own their own home. Wow. But we don't want to live with our cousin and he gets on our nerves, and our sister gets on. I mean, and it can be, you know, sometimes you can't live, you know, with
live with everybody.
Yeah. But we got to stop spending so much money. Be uncomfortable for a short period of time. And I call short 5 years. Be uncomfortable for those 5 years so you can bank that money up. You can bank that money. You know, and
because
then again, you don't buy anything that you can't afford. So if it just becomes too uncomfortable, you got to have that person move. You know, you can still pay your bills, but
right.
we got to just be smart with this. You know, just be uncomfortable for a little bit.
And that's one of the things we do put out. We either should reduce, eliminate, or share cost.
Mm-hmm.
And when you do that, and that's kind of what we call communal living, and
Mm-hmm.
that's something that people from different countries bring. And you say, well,
Oh,
how did they
it
come up? How did they come up so quick? Well, they ain't struggling, you know, like we
right.
are on those little bills,
Because we
and
got to floss. We got to look good now. You know, it's
oh
eight
yeah.
or nine of them in a house. You know, but it's a short term plan. They like,
Right.
look, we're banking all of this money. We're not eating out every weekend. You know, we gonna do this for this short period of time. And then when I leave this house, I'm leaving this house with $200,000-$300,000. So they have
Mm,
a plan. You know, we just want to get out and spend, spend, spend. You always have to pay yourself first. Pay
right.
yourself first. You pay you before you pay anything else. I mean, this man taught me that. Oh goodness, I had to be about just get into the workforce, you know, right out of high school. And you know,
Mm,
we normally were taught, you know, you pay all your bills, you light your gas, your phone, and then save, you know, save a little bit to the side. He was like, no, Karen, pay yourself first. I said, even before my light bill and my phone bill, he said,
right.
absolutely. But it's the discipline. I get it. He said, even if it's $10, $20, you pay yourself first. If you have to be late on your rent, and then you think about that's crazy. I'm gonna have to pay a $25 late fee, you know, to be late. But if you don't pay yourself first, something is gonna always happen. You're gonna get a
Right.
flat tire, your battery's gonna go out. It's your kid's birthday. So it's always gonna be something. When he told me that, I think like at 18, 19, I have never, ever not had any money.
Mm,
Since I started,
okay.
you know, paying my, you know, when I started that paying myself first. Never
Right.
ever. And then, you know, later we can get into the different buckets on how you invest. Yeah.
Okay. And that's a good thought because I know sometimes it's hard because there's certain disciplines that we've been taught by our parents, you know, but they didn't know any better. Plus, they didn't have as much of expenses that we have. I remember my mother, uh, like, I remember I made more money than my mom when I was like 22.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, man, and I was still broke. I spent all that money. My mom, was able to make that money and still buy a house, a
Mm-hmm.
car, and I had to eventually figure out a way to survive
Right.
with less money. So I would send all my money to my mom except for $100, and I would hustle the rest of the money. And I didn't miss it, because if I had the money, I was spending it. I was
Right.
19, 20, all them years, wasn't doing that with no money. I wish I had known some stuff. I could get it, but
Right.
couldn't keep it. And I think now those strategies, like when you say those products, health insurance, life insurance,
Mm-hmm.
instead of having a Gucci bag, some new Nikes, and you ain't got life insurance, okay?
Right.
And those things. So that's critical. Um, Another thing I'm thinking when we look at uh, uh, debt, a lot of times not knowing how much debt to carry, because people, especially young people, they'll give you a line of credit. You already got a student loan. Now you
Right.
got all these credit cards, and what's a good practice, because they're giving you credit, uh, and you could be overextended in a
Right.
short period of time, and you don't know nothing about credit reports and all this type of stuff. They done gave you all this money. Now they calling you Mr. Drummer.
Yep. Not give me my money. Well, you
Right.
never want your credit card to go over 30% of its credit limit. So if you
Mm,
have $1,000 credit limit, you don't want to go over $300 because
okay.
you want to keep that way your it doesn't lower your credit score. but try your best to be in practice and paying that off at the end of the, when the credit card is due. I know that can be easier said than done, especially when you're starting off, but
Okay.
don't get yourself in a lot of debt. That is the key. That is the key. And I know, again, younger people do not want delayed satisfaction or gratitude. My
Yeah.
daughter's included. It's like, well, Saks sent me a $100 off coupon. I said, yeah, $100 off of anything you buy $700 or more. So
Mm.
you have to go buy those Gucci sandals so you can get $100 off.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's her
Right.
logic, is that I didn't want to let this $100 coupon go to waste. I was like, Lord Jesus. It's like the preacher's wife, right? The preacher kids, they the baddest kids, I tell you.
Okay.
Yeah. So perfect example. Gotta just be able to have that delayed, satisfaction,
Right.
and she makes good money. She
Mm.
Lash Tech, these young folks are making money. The social
Oh
media,
yeah. Yeah.
the beauty industry. I'm like you just said that you were making more money than your mom. I'm like, you're 21, pulling in $7, $8, $10,000 a month.
Yeah.
Doing lashes and teaching classes, and people are
Yeah.
traveling in and coming here to Atlanta. I said, girl, listen to your mother. So yeah, she's doing much better. She had to go through her little splurge like we all do.
Right.
I
Yeah.
got that live and trust, right? See, I knew what I
Right.
was. But yeah, so she was like, I get it now, So, mom, I'm invested in this and this. And of course, she invests in crypto and she has her own house. That's what I said. Pay this stuff off. And that way you want to have a condo or whatever in Buckhead, get this one paid off, rent this out, and then that'll help pay, because that'll be paid off. So you can take that
Right.
money and help pay for the property that you do want.
Right.
But right now,
Mm.
yeah, this is good. So it's just we just got to sit down and just be a little bit disciplined. Nothing is
Right.
new having that 3 to 6 to 9 months of income in the bank, but that doesn't start unless you start paying yourself first, because something is always going to happen. Let me tell you another thing I used to do too. And when I was young, I was, again, self-employed. I was in a hair cosmetologist and makeup artist as well. So in my 20s, back and forth to Chicago and New York. So what I did is, in my drawer, I did what I call the envelope program. So I had to put away to save. So I had regular envelopes, and I had one that say car, one that say house, one that says gifts. Let's see, car, house, gifts, something else. I had a couple of regular savings and the long-term savings. So what I would do is every week I would put money in each of those envelopes. So the car was, again, car. I try to save 50% of my income and live off the other 50% of your income. So I'll put $10, $20 in the car envelope. And that was for what? If I needed a new tire, right? If my battery went out, if it was time for my oil change. So that way that money wasn't coming out of my regular bills. See, what happens is people don't save in those different buckets. So when something happens, you're pulling out of your actual monthly bills, your light, your gas, your rent. So that was my car envelope. Even if you're putting $5 in there, $10 a month, put it in that car envelope. I had a gift envelope because I love to give. So I would be bad on credit cards and buy really expensive gifts because I just like to give good stuff. But I'm buying you a good gift, but I'm paying for it for 3 years because it's on my credit card. So this was in my 20s. So I said, no, I said, I'm going to have a gift envelope. So $50 a week or whatever I put in there. So that's everybody's birthday, Christmas, graduation. That's in that envelope. And I constantly paying that. And whose ever birthday or whatever came up, it came out of that envelope. I was not going to go out of my regular savings to use. So it's just about discipline, household stuff. If I wanted new furniture or a new lamp or something, normally back in the day, I just go out and charge that new pillows, but I would make it come out of that envelope. So I had to get disciplined, like I said, because I had no vacation days or sick days or anything like that.
Well, you made me think of something, and this comes out of the spiritual community, the tithing given to the church. Well, I was at a church and the pastor had what do you call them? he told people to stop work. This back in the day when he was writing checks. They was
Mhm.
writing face checks on their ties,
Mhm.
and it was bouncing. And the pastor told the people in the congregation, stop praying over your checks if you know the money ain't in the account.
Oh,
Because
wow.
people was like, well, I'm gonna put this seed in, and I know the seed it's seed time, harvest time. I know it's gonna be a bountiful. It's gonna be pressed down. You know how they do it, pressed
Yeah.
down, murdered over. And they didn't have the foundational things
Right.
in place to make sure they could do it. And they thought because they would, but the church was getting a headache because these
Checks.
non-sufficient,
Wow.
yeah.
You don't do that, right? So
But
now you can
people getting
swipe
better.
left, swipe right. Yeah, but back in the day, you're right. You did do your checks in the envelope.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
it really just boils down, to discipline. Is first you got to get a plan. So
Okay.
that's where I come in, or whoever you use as your advisors. You got to sit down with a plan. And that's with anything. Like if you're trying to lose weight, you got to do what? Have a plan. I'm gonna
Right.
exercise these many days. I'm gonna cut carbs, or I'm gonna cut down on my sugar, and it's a plan. So you got to get that plan and stick with that plan, and then it'll be like second. It'll be like second nature. But you got to start with the plan. So that starts with looking at your debt, knowing what you have. I ask a person, what is your net worth? And they don't know what their net worth is. When I'm filling out a life insurance application, they're like, my net worth. I'm like, yeah, what is your net worth? Which is, your assets minus your expenses. So we literally have to, I see the question. Difference
Okay.
between a financial advisor, and a CPA. Yeah, so you got to know what you have. So you don't got to know. So that's your life insurance. That's, anything you have in your savings, your 401k, blah, blah, blah. So those are your assets minus your expenses. That's your net worth. So the question is, said a financial advisor and a CPA. A CPA is an accountant, a certified public accountant. So they don't give any financial advice. A CPA looks at your numbers and look at what you have and, advises you. Usually use your CPA when you're getting ready to do your taxes and things like that. So that CPA, if you have a business, you don't need a business to have a CPA, but most people that have a business have a CPA. So they're looking at your finances to see where you're putting your money and keeping your books in order. They don't give any financial advice. A financial advisor, is that what it is? They're advising you based on what you told them your risk tolerance is, or how much money you want to have by this certain age. They're putting a plan together for you to help you meet that goal. So that's the difference between those two.
Okay. And there's so many short range, long range, and medium range programs, but I guess those basics are health, and we'll just keep pushing it. Health insurance, life insurance. There's no magic formula to getting rich quick. Some people just believe that it's going. They'll scratch off the lotto ticket and just say, when I get that lotto money, I'm gonna be straight. But even then, you got to have so much of that money in places that can sustain you, and so that's some valuable information. But on the real estate, because Atlanta's a hot market, and I know sometimes people don't like the headache of having a tenant. Because especially if it's somebody they like, well, I just ain't got it. You almost have to put them on a financial plan, in order, because people, when they get depressed, they have a tendency not to pay the bills. I mean, because it's because I used to do it. I think my rent one time was $365, and I was like, I was living in East Point, Cato Atlanta, and I had about $290. I said, man, I might as well go on a trip. So I went and came back and worried about the rent. Now that was wrong. Because I played the late free and all this, and I thought my roommate was gonna cover it, but he didn't, because he was thinking the same thing. He didn't have about $40. He was like, man, I ain't got it. But the discipline to take care of things and to put things in perspective. A lot of ladies are more men as they get older, but especially, women tend to think about money because y'all buy stuff because you look at a guy and you say, man, goodness, what you spent? I don't see a Gucci bag. I don't see no shoes. I don't see your hair done. I don't see nothing. And you done sucked up all this money. But men tend, even though at a younger age, tend to spend more, not knowing what we spend. Because like before I started thinking, I was just blowing money. You go eat, before you know it, you spent $10 just back in the day. $10 on something to eat. You get somebody to go with, you got 20, and you're doing that every day. And then you spending money on gas, you spending money on something to drink, all this stuff. Before you know it, you got $100 a day habit.
Yep. That's true. Yeah, that's true. That's back to that discipline. And you're right, men, you spend more without having that much to show for it because you are the guy. So you're especially if you're not married, well, if you're married, you're spending more money, but you're dating. So you have to treat, whoever you're dating. So I can see where a lot of the money go. Women, we have a lot of things to show, I think, more so for it because as you see, I diamonds and I have a whole bunch of Gucci bags and all of that as well. So I have things to show for it. But I tell the ladies too, if you're going to buy something like that, then go ahead and buy the Louis and the Gucci. And there's nothing wrong with Michael Kors or Coach or anything like that. But if you're going to spend money on the bag, go ahead and buy a bag because one thing you can do with my Gucci bag, just say if I did get broke, oh Lord, I break out in half. So it ain't gonna ever happen. I was financially challenged at a point. I can sell that bag. I can wipe it and clean it up, and I can still get about $1,200.
Wow.
Because that's an investment. So just like diamonds, I can sell all of this stuff. But if I buy something that's, $69.99, Michael Kors, and again, nothing wrong with it. I had some of them, back in the day as well. I'm not getting any money for that. So if I'm gonna spend a couple of grand or $1,200 on a bag, you keep it up, you can consign that and you can get darn near, close to your money back. So, that's a good thing.
You made me think of, I've seen people that buy high dollar items. Believe it or not, even like Airbnb on the rental side, that's another way to make money on a home. I've seen guys that bought exotic cars and actually rent them out to rappers, because they want to get it, they want to have it. I've seen ladies that rented out their jewelry or their bag. I said, you mean, yeah, a $600 bag, a $1,200 bag, yeah, rent it out for about $20. Before you know it, they don't, because it was a young lady. That's how she made her money. She was renting out bags to her friends. Well, the friends they had, wanted to look like they had some money.
Yeah.
So this generation now, but then I thought about it. You know what? I'm gonna tell you this. I remember this when I was in the military. There was a brother out of Philly because he used to rent out clothes because a lot of brothers didn't have clothes to wear. You had the typical things, man. I got this nice suit, man. You need to check it out. Right. He rent the suit out, and for about $10-15, you got it for the weekend. He said, just your size, brother. He looked at the guys that was on the ship that was renting out his clothes. And so when you look at it, there's several ways that if you spend too much money, you need to figure out a way to replenish that money quicker, which is cash flow. So that's a question I have. How important is cash flow in all of this?
Cash flow is absolutely important. And that's why I said you pay yourself first because you need to have that cushion. You need to have that cushion. And that ties back into the great thing about real estate. So just say, look, we had the craziest 3 years we've ever had in our lifetime with COVID. You know, so people that owned their home for some period of time, or if they had a whole life policy, they were able to tap into that and keep their families going. So say if you did lose your job, you know, or got laid off or something like that, if you had a whole life policy, like I said, the one I have for my daughter, I could go in there and pull out $6,000-7,000 in that policy and don't have to pay it back if I don't want to. You know, you can pay the interest back. All that would do is reduce the death benefit of that policy. So if I pull $5,000 out, heaven forbid she passed away, I would get 45 instead of the 50. So it reduced the death policy amount of that loan. Or if you owned a home, especially now, oh my God, the equity in your house has shot up. My house is double for what I paid for it. Based on the prices, you know, right now in real estate. And then if you did some home improvements, you know how I am. You know, I'd added palm trees outside. I've added all kind of stuff during COVID. I'm like, hey, I can't get to the yeah. So I'm the only one in the subdivision with 5 palm trees outside. But of course, not everybody, you know, this house will sell in a second, you know, because of the improvements. You know, you don't want to over improve because that's a whole nother conversation. You can't get your money back. But something like landscaping, that shoots your property value up because it's pleasing to the eye. You know, you want to come home and look at something nice. So yes, so that's the cash flow. If you didn't have that money saved in the bank, if you have been in your house for I can't even say 5 years. If you bought your house 2 years ago, you probably sitting with $50,000+ of equity. So you're able to pull that money, you know, out of your house, or you either can get an equity loan, or you could have refinanced and pulled that money out of your house. So that's why it's so important to own if you can, because that's cash just sitting there. And the young lady asked the questions about what if you retired late. I mean, didn't start saving until later. Again, that's another way now to play catch up, because if you own your house, pull out, you know, $60,000-70,000 and go ahead. I can help you invest that. And now you can play catch up because you got to put a larger amount, you know, to get that compounding, you know, faster. So that's money that people are just sitting on, that they're not thinking about, that dang, you know, I can use that. So it's money out there if you've had some of those things set in place.
And I see the importance for it to be a vehicle like life insurance or a home, because people actually, now some people go in debt when their kids go to college. But people can actually, they're still going in debt, but they're pulling it out of the equity of their home. So their children won't be faced with this big student loan. They hope that when they graduate, some big billionaire gonna come and write them a check and cover all the expenses. But a lot of people, and then they still get as many grants and different things that they can get, and that's another part of financial literacy, is thinking about your family, the size of your family, because you know, if you're not thinking about how big they're gonna get, and you don't think about the long term, you could be paying out so much money, you know, not because I remember guys would have about 3 kids that wasn't under the roof that they was shelling out money for, and I was like, but now I think younger people are paying a little bit more attention. They're not gonna have as many kids. A lot of the ladies are not, you know, gonna be like, I'm not gonna be trapped down pushing them 3 and 4 strollers. Or you know, I'm looking at what can I do to secure my future. And I think more of us now, you know, with opportunities to share about our finances, to put it right in our face, but we got to look at it. And people like yourself that's out there putting out information that's going to help our community. But in closing, when you think about, just summing it up, just some core things that you think everybody should have or know, what would those things be?
Okay, so I would say core things is, first, if you have not gotten a copy currently of your credit reports, get a copy of all 3 of your credit reports. You know, you can get those free once a year. So look and see where you are. We got to see where you are. Look at that ugly truth, right? It might be good, may be bad, but you need to know where you are. So we need to go through that first to see if some of this stuff is yours. If it's not yours, I would not encourage people to pay for these companies that clean up your credit. That's something that you can do for yourself for free. I can show you how to do that, no charge. You can get all of that stuff off your credit that doesn't belong to you. If it
Okay.
does, then you got to work on that. Everything's negotiable. So first, see where you are with your credit. See where you are with your money. You know, if you do have a 401k or you invest in at work or whatever, see kind of what you have. You got to know where you are, right? To where to start. And then we go over, you know, what are your habits around money? What do you feel about money? So we know what you're doing first. You know, we all, if it's Starbucks, you know, $6, $7 every day, we might have to make a cup of coffee before you leave home. So it's money out there, and it's money that you have that you're probably not thinking about. So that's what I do as a strategist. I sit down and kind of see where you are. And then those 4 things we talked about, the health insurance, the life insurance, real estate. If you don't own a home, it's okay. We're going to talk about you creating a business, a LLC, so at least you can write off some of your rent on your taxes as part of your business. You got to have a separate room now. If you only got a 1-bedroom, you can't do that. It has to be a closed room. But if you have an apartment right now, if it's a 2-bedroom, we can use that other room as your business. So there are a lot of things that you can do. So I love that. I love to do that.
Okay. Well,
Oh, and she
well,
put up Zoom. That's a Zoom ID meeting. So if any of you guys
yeah.
have Zoom, that's my ID number. Let me double check and make sure that's right. I'm doing another one this Wednesday at 7 p.m. 966. And yeah, just join and I talk, like I said, I talk about the other financial options, the non-traditional ones, because they are here to stay. So don't miss this.
Okay. Well, you know, definitely, we definitely appreciate the information that you gave us out tonight because, you know, we want to stay ready. I know a lot of times we talk about the doom and gloom. Some people hope the world will end because they say, man, I'm in so much debt. I want somebody to invade the United States. I need for the bottom to fall out. But likelihood of that happening and you being here, you know, we have to prepare to be here, and you have to prepare for your children to be here and your children's children. You know, so we have to have these discussions. We encourage everybody to have discussions like this. Play this back, share it. Mr. Stiggers has given us some golden nuggets. No matter where you are with your money, it's your money. Wherever you are, you know, it's a good opportunity to start the day to start paying attention to it. You know, because ain't nothing going down in price. Everything's going up.
That's right.
And that's a hint, clue. And you know, we didn't but definitely thank you, appreciate you. We got to bring you back for a part 2 or a 3 because we really believe in being prepared and being ready.
Right.
As well as a disaster, especially with financing, because even when it comes down to disasters, the people that have the funniest money usually got the most problems because they didn't have enough money to get water. They didn't have enough money to store up food. They didn't have enough money to you know, there are people that have been kicked out of their places during hard times, even with COVID. All that goes back to money. Like you say, if you got the opportunity to pool your money, pull it out of something you invested in, whether it's real estate or some banks or stocks or Bitcoin, you in a better position than the person that ain't got nothing.
Let me say one thing, Reggie, too. And if you don't own a home, if you are renting, please have some renter's insurance. Please, that's dirt, you know, that's $30-$40 a month, and that will replace everything that you own. So take the time to please have some renter's insurance. If you're a homeowner, you already have homeowners, but renters, please get some renter's insurance. Okay.
And thank you. And join us next week. Everybody to join us tonight. We love you like God loves the world. Remember, stay ready. stay ready, be ready, prepare yourself at all times, or you will be at the mercy of whatever and whoever shows up. And you don't want that. So stay ready. This is Reginal Drummer, the peopleologist. We'll see you next week. Take care. Have a powerful day. And remember, the secret of walking on water is knowing where the rocks are. Pay attention at all times.